there's some loud thunder outside of my my window, so if you hear some weird loud noises, that's what it is. Um, Yesterday and last night, you've completed homework 7.12, 7.12 on surface area of prisms, pyramids, and cylinders. Number one is 148 centimeters squared. The surface area of number two is 406 inches squared. The surface area for number three is 22 and 6/10 meters squared. If you had slight little rounding differences, like you decided to round to a different place value, I'm okay with that. Although if you were using the answers at the bottom, you probably would have figured that out anyway. Number four, 224 square inches. Five had a surface area of 440 and 2/10 centimeters squared. The surface area for six was 145 and 92 hundredths centimeters squared. Number seven had a surface area of 340 meters squared. Eight had a surface area of 408 and 2/10 inches squared. And number nine had a surface area of 80 inches squared. And the answer to the riddle, what is cold and comes in cans? Chili beans, of course. I am going to go over every single problem. You may not need any of them, or you may only need one or two. I have to do them all, but you only watch what you need. So scroll forward, use the thing on the video to find the part you need. Fast forward to the point you need, watch the ones that you had trouble with so you can get that instruction. And then on the next Nearpod video, I'll give you instructions for what to do today. Number one is a rectangular prism. So it has three distinct faces. I'm going to label them A, B, C. I'm going to sketch them. Rectangular face A has a base of 6 and a height of 5. I had to look over here for that. B has a base of 4 and a height of 5. And C, the top and bottom faces, have a base of 6 and a height of 4. So the area of A is base times height. So 30. The area of B, 4 times 5, 20. And the area C, 6 multiplied by 4, 24. For a rectangular prism, there are three pairs of parallel congruent faces. So the surface area formula for a rectangular prism will be 2 times area face A plus 2 times area face B plus 2 times area face C, 2 of each of those. And when I substitute the areas that we just calculated, I have 2 30s and 2 20s and 2 24s. So 60 and 40, that's nice, that's 100. And 48, so 148. They were all given in centimeters, so centimeters squared. That was that one. 2 is just a different rectangular prism. Face A is 7 by 11. Face B, oh, I just realized something. Even though this is clearly not drawn to scale, this is 7 and this is 7. Huh. And they both have a height of 11. They would have to be a prism. So really, I don't need a B. Well, I mean, I need a B, because it'd be weird to have an A and a C. So we'll just call this bottom face B. But in other words, this is also A, this is A. These are all, this square, this base B is a square. Let me draw B. B is a 7 by 7 square. And so for that reason, I have, let me write I'll do this a little out of order. I have 4 times area of face A plus 2 times area of face B. And if you're having trouble seeing that, let me just highlight B. These two faces are B, the two squares. But A, this face, these are all the same. these 4 going around, these are all the same. The area of A is 7 times 11, or 77, but there are 4 of those. Area face B, 7 times 7, 7 squared is 49. There are 2 of those. So I have 4 77s and 2 49s. 4 77s is 280 and 28, so 308 and 98. It's 406. The dimensions were in inches, so the surface area will be square inches. And this is what's nice about these. You can look down here. If you don't see a 406 somewhere, then you can go back and figure out what went wrong. Number 3, another rectangular prism. There does not have any square bases, so we have A, B, and C. A is a 1.4 base and a 2 height. I see this is 2, so this must be 2. B has a base of 2.5 and a height of 2. And C has a base of 1.4 and a height of 2.5. Area A will be 1.4 times 2. So the area face A is 2 8/8, 2.8. The area face B is 2.5 times 2. 2.5 doubled is 5. The area face C is 1 4/10 multiplied by 2 5/10. But 2 5/10 is 2.5. So I'm going to do this way. I'm going to do 2 1.4s is 2.8. And half of 1.4 is 0.7, because 14/10. 1.4 is 14/10. Half of 14 is 7. So 7/10. If I add that 7/10 to the 2.8, I get 3.5. Of course, you could use it, once you wrote the formula, you could use a calculator, but I'm just trying to highlight some mental math things you can do also. The surface area, it's again 2 times area A plus 2 times area B plus 2 times area C, because we've got another rectangular prism. So I have 2 2.8s plus 2 5s plus 2 3.5s. 2 2.8s is 5.6, 5 6/10. 2 5s is 10, and 2 3.5s is 7. So I have 17, 22, 22 6/10 meters squared, which is right there. So I feel good about that answer. Number 4, we have a square base. It's a square pyramid. It's got one base. The base is a square. Sketch that first. The base is a square. 8 inch by 8 inch. Oh, this is the one I did on yesterday's Nearpod. But just in case, I'm just going to do it real quickly here, just in case somebody didn't see that for whatever reason. This is face B. A triangle has a height of 10 and a base of 8. The area face A is 8 times 8, so 64. Now here's where you can get in trouble. The area face B is not 8 times 10. It's 1/2 base times height. Don't forget to write the formula if it's not a parallelogram. The parallelograms, the rectangles, the squares, you're so used to doing just base times height. If you didn't write a formula for that, I would understand. But for a shape that's a triangle, a trapezoid, something other than a parallelogram, you definitely should write the formula first and then substitute in the values. 1/2 multiplied by 8 multiplied by 10, so 4 times 10, or 40. And then the surface area formula for this square pyramid, there's only one square base, so I have one area A, which is just area A. But I have 4 of those triangles, so 4 times area B. So area A is 64, and I have 4 40s. 64 plus 160 is 224 The dimensions were inches, so inches squared. RI right there. 5 is a cylinder. Use the cylinder formula. Surface area of a cylinder, 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. This first term is the lateral surface area. This becomes a rectangle when we unwrap it. And of course, pi r squared is the area of a circle, and we have 2 of those circles, 2 of those circular bases. I'm going to say approximately now because I know I'm about to substitute 3.14 for pi, which is an approximation of pi. The radius is 4.3. It goes from the center to the edge, so that is in fact the radius. The height is the perpendicular distance between the circular bases. It's the 12. If I stood it up on the circle, on the circular base, it would be 12 centimeters high. So this is the height. Plus 2 times 3.14 multiplied by the radius, 4.3 squared. I do use a calculator on this. For the first term, the lateral surface area, I get 324.048. For the 2 circular bases, I get 116.1172. And let me tell you something, before I add those and just assume that the calculator has done the computation correctly, I do a quick estimate. This is approximately 6. This is approximately 50. 50 times 6 is 300. I do a quick estimate. This is approximately 6. 4.3 squared. I know it's going to be more than 16. I would just do like, to be honest, I would just do like 20. I know it's got to be between 16 and 25, but I do 6 times 20, I get 120, and I feel pretty good about 116 when I get 120 when I do my quick estimate. When I add those together, I get 440.1652 for the approximate surface area. Even though that looks pretty precise because it's going to the 10,000ths place. Remember, we use 3.14 for pi, so it's necessarily that's the right word. If we used an approximate value for pi, we were left with an approximation, no matter how precise it looks. And when I look for my answer down here, I don't see it anywhere, and that's when I really have to realize that they chose to round that to the 10ths place. So as long as I'm approximating, it's approximately 440.2 centimeters squared. This is how the answer bank can help you. Number 6 is a lot like number 4. It's a square pyramid. This square base has a side length of 6.4. I'm going to call it face A. 6.4 by 6.4 square. So the area of A is 6.4 times 6.4, which is the same as 6.4 squared, which on a calculator is, it's going to be between 36 and 49. Closer to 36 probably. I'm going to guess 40-ish. Whoa, what did I do? I put a totally wrong number. Yeah, 40.96. The area of that square base, oh, I should have been able to do that in my head because 64 is 2 to the 6th power. So I could have just done 2 to the 10th times 4, which, anyway, 40 and 96 hundredths for the area of that square base. And then the triangle, there's 4 of them. They're all congruent, so I only need to do one of them. B, area of B, 1/2 base times height. The base is 6.4 because it's that side of the square, and the height is 8 2/10. So 1/2 of 6.4 times 8.2, 3.2 times 8.2, 26 and 24/100ths. When we're in class doing a problem like this, often a student will have a clever idea and say, well, we've got 4 of these triangles. Instead of doing the 1/2, why don't we just, 2 of them would be 1 hole and 4 of them would be 2 holes. So couldn't you just take this and double this product or something like that? And it's true. It's just, if you do that, just don't do the 4 times area B at the end. If you don't do that, if you do it the way I just did it, it's 1 area A plus 4 area B's. And so you get 40 and 96/100ths plus 4 multiplied by 26 and 24/100ths, which is actually not all that hard because 4 25s is 100. So 104.96. When I add that to the 40.96, I get 145 and 92/100ths. They were centimeters, so centimeters squared, and that's right there. So we know we did it right. Problem 7. Now for this triangular prism, I have I'll call the triangle A, and I'll sketch it here. There's 2 of those, of course. That's what makes it a prism. 2 parallel congruent triangular bases. The height, the perpendicular distance to this base, the base is 12 meters. I see that here. And they show me this line segment that's perpendicular. So I know that's showing me the height of 5. So the area of A is 1/2 base times height. 1/2 times 12 times 5. Half of 12 is 6. So 6 times 5 is 30. So the area of each of those triangles is 30. Of course, there's 2 of them, but we'll deal with that at the end. I'm going to call this front face, this front rectangle, B. It's got a base of 12 and a height of 10. So the area of rectangle B is 12 by 10, or 120. Let's call C, this one over here, C, I made it a little too long, is a base of, when I look here I don't see that base, but then I realize, oh, I could look up here. That's 7 meters. And the height is going to be the same as the height for B. That's what makes it a prism. The bases are parallel, the triangular bases are parallel, so height of 10. So the area of face C is 7 times 10, or 70. D is this one over here. I'll sketch that here. Of course, it's going to have a height of 10, a base of 9 for face D. So the area of D is 90, 9 by 10, or 90. The surface area formula for this triangular prism, where none of the rectangular faces are congruent, is 2 times area A plus 1 area B plus 1 area C plus 1 area D. So I have 2 30s and 120 and 70 and 90. 60 and 120 is 180, plus 70 is 250, plus 90 is 340. The units were meters, so meters squared. Right there. Okay. Cylinder. Surface area is 2 pi r h plus 2 pi r squared. So the surface area is approximately 2 times 3.14 times, here's where people make a mistake. You have to be real careful. The radius is not 10. This 10 is pointing to this line segment that goes all the way across the circle and through the center. That's a diameter. If the diameter is 10, the radius is 5 from the center to the edge. So radius is 5. The height of the cylinder, the perpendicular distance between the circular bases, is 8 plus 2 times 3.14 times 5 squared. So the surface area is approximately 6.28 times 40. The lateral surface area is 251 2/10. And 6.28 times 25. 157. 40 times 6 is 240. I feel good about this. 6 times 25 is 125. Oh. 6 times 20. Oh no, no. 5 times 25 is 1. Oh, 6 times 25 is 150. Okay, I feel good about this too. 250 and 150 is 400. Plus I have another 8 and 2/10. 408 and 2/10. These were given in inches, so this is inches squared. Where is it? There it is. Last one was on the homework help video, so I'm not going to redo it. It comes out to 80 inches squared.